All right. And we're live. Sloppy Sunday episode 4. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I was having an audio problem earlier. So, yeah, I think we should be fine. I don't know. Um, let's see here. Yeah, I was having I'm in a brain fog too because I've been sick all of this week and I've been sleeping way too much and drinking a lot of Dayquil and NyQuil and sleeping weird hours, so I'm not really thinking clearly. Um, let's see here. But yep, all right, we are good. Wilson's in the chat, Kellen's in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I've been under the weather for the past week, and man, it has kicked my ass. Um, it sucked. And I was, the thing about it too is, it was like the sinus thing, head thing, allergies, something. Um, but then, I'm at work and apparently I'm the only one suffering from it. So now I just look like all I'm doing is complaining or I don't know, whatever. I'm getting over it finally though. So yeah. All right, we got Baloney in the chat. Baloney, I haven't seen you in a while, man. I've been missing you. Haven't seen you around much lately. I understand sometimes life can interfere, but I just hope you never forget about me, Baloney, because we have something special together. Don't ever let anyone come in between us, Baloney. Just remember that. So yeah, today's episode, I have a couple Goregrind albums that I've been listening to that I'm going to go over, then also a couple comedy albums. Um, and last weekend, I skipped a week, and because Metal Threat Fest was going on here in Chicago, and then there was also something, Rick was at Metal and Beer Fest in Philly, and there was a bunch of stuff going on and all that, and just after, I just skipped it for that. But going to Metal Threat was it was cool, but it was weird. And so it was a 4-day metal festival in a strip mall in the suburbs of Chicago. And it's, I mean, the venue itself was like a real legit venue. It wasn't like a high school auditorium or anything like that. But it's it was this place called the Brower House, and they had two stages. Um, the side stage was a lot smaller. It was more of just like a bar, and then where normally probably bar bands would play there. It's weird to think that bands from all over the world flew into Chicago to play basically a bar show. Um, but the main stage was legit, and I saw a few bands there. Cyanide played there, and Dead Congregation played on the main stage. And the thing that was weird about the environment is seeing all of these metal bands play in basically what was a strip mall. Because then, the Brower House was on the corner of the mall, but then beside that was like a dry cleaners. And then there's a Home Depot down there. And then, then over here is Bed Bath and Beyond, and then, so it's like you could, if you timed it right, you could go run your errands and then catch the show and not have to move your car at all. You could park at one spot, run into Bed Bath and Beyond, get some scented soaps, go to Home Depot, get, whatever you need from there, and, grab lunch somewhere, pick up your dry cleaning, and then go catch the metal show. It's just weird to think of, like, when you think about all of especially when you look in the YouTube universe of where um when you see like Walk-In and all of the years that I went to Maryland Death Fest, and where it's like it's outdoorsy, or you see like or Obscene Extreme is another one, or where you have all of these like outdoor metal festivals and people are going crazy and stuff, but then it's like when you go to a metal fest that's in a strip mall, it was just a little weird, because then it's like you'll see pictures on social media of here's Aura Noir outside drinking beers, but then you see the sign for Bed Bath and Beyond, in the background, and um, things like that. My one complaint though is that for the elder statesmen such as myself, and the older guys, uh, there weren't enough places to sit down. So it's like, we're old, we have bad ankles, we have back pain. Somewhere, more convenient to sit would have been a good thought. But yeah, it was still cool. It had been a while since I've been to a show, and I met Ken from Ken's Death Metal Crypt, so that was pretty awesome. And met J Dog from Hell's Headbangers, and met Brian Arkham in person. Uh, Very handsome gentleman. Very much holds the door open for everyone. Like Brian's like, oh, hold the door open, and be like, oh, after you, after you. Oh no, please, I insist, after you. Yeah, I was surprised. And but yeah, we hung out in Brian's car a lot, and yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Um, let's see here. Yeah, baloney. Yeah, yeah. The lineup was cool until probably half of the lineup all ran into visa issues, and then they had to find replacement bands last minute. So yeah, there were quite a few bands that I was looking forward to seeing, but then they all dropped off last minute. And I wonder how bands feel when they weren't picked to be in the initial lineup, but then they're just on the radar to be a replacement if a band runs into visa issues. Like how do they feel, like, oh, we're good enough to play your fest now? Now that Frontalith can't get into the country, now we're good enough to play. There's got to be a little bit of resentment there. But Outer Kevin, yeah, Outer Kevin, I didn't see you there, but yeah, and then oh yeah, I also met Life Eternal. He was, yeah, another YouTuber, cool dude. I went light on the merch. I didn't go absolutely crazy with merch this time. I just bought a couple Dead Congregation CDs, and then I bought a pretty sweet long sleeve. And I'm not one for a Bathory t-shirt. I kind of feel like the Bathory t-shirts, soon you'll be seeing them at Walmart. Like how Walmart, how they sell those um those fake vintage Guns N' Roses shirts and Metallica shirts and stuff. I feel like the next wave of band shirts that Walmart will be carrying, I feel like Bathory will probably, the Goat's Head one. I feel like soon there's going to be some sort of like corporate manufactured versions of the typical Bathory shirt along with the typical Death shirt. And soon you'll be seeing those in Walmart. But I bought my first Bathory shirt, and I'll admit I've never been a big Bathory fan. And I have a hot take, is that my really the Bathory album I like most is Requiem. Yeah, I know. I right there. That's when I'm sure someone in listening right now. That's when the needle scratch across the record. They're like, Requiem, what? Yeah, I'm not into the Viking stuff at all. Or I'm not into that. I think Requiem. I think it's a great thrash album. It's really the only one I own. I think it is. I think I have Octagon too, which is just a mess. That album's just a mess. But yeah, okay, no, yeah, okay. So, um, but yeah, so I found this, and I was gonna hold off, right? Yeah, exactly. I knew that was coming. Um, I never owned a Bathory shirt because I'm like, if I'm gonna own a Bathory shirt, the only one I want is a Requiem shirt. I don't want any of the other ones because I'm really not into any of the other ones. But then there was this dude that had this merch stand, had this sweet Requiem long sleeve. So I'm like, yeah, right there. Here's my card. I couldn't swipe my credit card fast enough because I've been wanting one. So I got a Bathory long sleeve of Requiem, just with the skulls, and it just says Requiem, and then it says Bathory down the sleeve, and it's good quality, and pretty happy with that. So yeah, so that's yeah, yeah. I mean, Hammer Heart is that's a good one too. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't listened to Bathory enough. I it's I yeah, I don't know. It's I maybe I just need to revisit, but I've just never was into the Viking stuff. Um the one album, what's the second one that has like the logo in yellow and then it has the moon setting. I remember listening to that one and thinking that one was pretty decent, but yeah, just was never a big fan. I know. I just lost a bunch of friends right now because of that, but anyways, Tom, good seeing you. Yeah, Tom, good seeing you in the chat. But yeah, so next Saturday, Tom, Wilson, and myself will be doing a bolt thrower deep dive on my channel. So I already have the thumbnail up. Go ahead and click the notify thing just to get a reminder about it. It's going to be pretty sweet. We're going to go all in on bolt thrower, all the albums, peel sessions, all that stuff. It'll be a good time. So, yeah, Tom, good seeing you in the chat here. And okay, the strip mall with a drugstore, a pet shop, several restaurants, and then there's always the nail salon. It's like there's always the nail salon. I would be shocked if there wasn't a dry cleaners there, but maybe it works out good. Maybe some of the guys are on tour. They're like, oh, they have all this filthy laundry from playing. They're like, oh, wonderful. There's a dry cleaner there. Let me go drop some clothes off and get it laundered. And just be careful with the patches. Um, is the Beyond in the Bed Bath and Beyond? Yeah. I unfortunately I missed Or Noir. They headlined on Sunday, and I didn't go on Sunday. What I would have loved to have seen them, but I saw them. I saw them when they played Maryland Death Fest, and I can't remember what year that was. It was like around 2010 or so. But they were totally awesome live. I really enjoyed that show. Really good stuff. Good band. Yes, I did enjoy Threat Fest. The thing about Threat Fest though is because I drove there, I only had two beers the entire night. Um, Originally, I was going to take the party bus from Meteor Gem down there and back, and then so the Meteor bus had free PBR, and they drove us to the fest, drove us back. It sounded like it was going to be awesome, but then the old person in me started thinking like, well, I don't know if I want to be out that late, and all those rowdy kids and stuff, and I don't know. So I ended up just driving myself. I had, over the course of the entire evening, I had two beers. If I was in a position where I was free to just get wasted and I didn't need to be responsible about getting back home, then I probably would have had a much better time. Um, or if I had a hotel there too, something like that. But driving myself there and then driving myself home, not wanting to risk getting a DUI or getting carjacked or anything, I figured it was best to just limit myself to 2 beers all night. And then, um, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, Under the Sign of the Black Mark. That is a good one, but it's boring album art. Like, I'm not going to buy a T-shirt that's just of like fog, just and then just with a moon. It's and I'm not going to buy the standard issue Bathory T-shirt anyways. But by that point, the typical the Goat's Head Bathory shirt, I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing them at Walmart at some point. I'm sure they've already made the rounds at Hot Topic. Next stop is at Walmart. It is. That's becoming the shirt when there's always that, say, someone just overnight they become a metalhead, but they immediately just jump into the fashion first. And it's kind of like, what are your what shirts that you first go for. The Bathory shirt is usually one of those. Yeah, finally stock some fake leprophiliac. Oh man, I'm telling you, it would. Oof. I think it'll be a while before the leprophiliac shirts make their way into Walmart, but you never know. It's Walmart.com could be a different story. So I've seen some weird stuff on Walmart.com. Um, I have a friend that only likes Requiem. Yeah, Baloney, you know what? Your friend and I would get along because that's pretty much how I feel about Bathory. I only like Requiem. I do. Yeah. Yeah. Um, Bloodfire than Black Mark. Yeah. Yeah. Nah. Requiem. That's all you need. All you need. Everything else are waste of time. Yeah. And okay, yeah, so Viking pagan genre. Oh God. It's for me, it hasn't been a hard pass, but it was something where when I got turned on into or exposed to Viking metal, kind of like early Amon Amarth type of stuff, and then um I don't know, it just wasn't my thing really. Um I mean, I'm open to suggestions if anyone has any recommendations, but it's one of those things where, you know, the music I listen to, I buy on a physical format, so I need to spend wisely. So I put my funds towards stuff that I know that I'll like, instead of having maybe some buyer's remorse. And stuff that I know that I like usually falls within the screamy grindcore uh, genre and stuff. But yeah, if anyone has any recommendations, drop them in the chat. And let me see here. Yeah, let's see here. Hello, Malia. And laundry days are mandatory on tour. Yeah, I've always wondered that. Like, how is it when a band is on tour? You're in a van, and I've known bands on tour and stuff, and they're all disgusting people. They really are. They're disgusting. I don't think I could ever be in a band that goes on tour. I'd be like, no, get a fill in for me on tour because I don't want to be around you disgusting people that much. Or I would drive myself and book my own hotel room. Like, no, I'm not crashing on a couch. I'm not sleeping 4 to a Motel 6 room. I'll get my own place, at the Marriott or wherever, and I'll just drive myself because I don't want to be around you disgusting people that much. That's sort of my attitude about touring. I've had bands crash at my place in the past, plenty of times. I've had this interesting story too about a time when I was in college. Man, this was a weird situation but I ended up living with a stripper who then later on went on to become a porn star. And she performed on screen with some well-known actors like Rocco Siffredi and Manuel Ferreira, and she definitely made a name for herself in porn. And but she was a stripper at the time, and we were roommates. And this band who I knew from back in Baltimore, they were touring, and where I was in Florida, and so they crashed, and then she ended up fucking two of the guys in the band, and she was she also had a thing with pills, and she went out into the living room with just a tank top on and nothing else. And like when this one dude was done fucking, he was just sitting out there, just like, oh man, I'm beaten. And she comes out in the living room with just a tank top on, nothing else, and she's like, I'm not done with you. Summons him back into the bedroom for more sex. I'm just like, oh man. So I guess maybe that part of touring, I could probably deal with some of that. I'd be like, all right, well, hey, who am I to argue? You know, don't have to twist my arm. But yeah, living with her was an experience. So um sounds like a dream. No, living with her was not a dream. It ended up being a horrible nightmare after a while. Horrible nightmare. Yeah, when she got into porn, I could say that from the short amount of time that we were roommates, she was very, very qualified to perform in pornography. Plenty of experience. Yeah, definitely. Very well qualified, a very long resume of experience to go to go along with her pornography qualifications. Has got half naked goat man on the moon. Let's see here. Chris not letting facts get in the way of Rick. Yep. And I'll hook you up. Yep. I feel attacked because I have the standard goat head Bathory shirt, but I've had it for 20 years and is basically rags now. Okay, so we all know the standard goat head Bathory shirt, but if you have, well, here's the thing too. I feel about the standard goat head Bathory shirt. If you've had it for 20 years, then you get a pass. Something like that. I don't think there are many people around nowadays who could say they got it at a show because how long has he been dead now? There is some weird shadiness with the Black Mark record label. Last I remember reading is that I think his parents own the label, but then I've heard too that like the label itself is just like a shell business. Like it's not like a real label. It's just something that's printed on the. I think what happened is that another label owns the rights to the catalog, or that his parents own the rights to the catalog, but then license it out to someone else who does the actual manufacturing and distribution. Because I can't imagine his parents actually being involved and getting on the phone with distros and coming up with new merch ideas. I just don't see that happening. I just see parents just wanting to collect a paycheck every now and then. But yeah, I've heard Black Mark, the label itself, weird, and there's not any physical people there working there or answering phone calls or responding to emails or anything. Um, but yeah, Walmart sucks. I'm telling you, Malia. At some point, eventually, you will see the goat's head Bathory shirt at Walmart. It will happen. Um, yeah. Bought the Metallica album. Oh, it's this 72 Seasons. Mayo and detergent. Yeah, and motor oil. I stop in at Walmart. Well, 4 Walmarts just closed here in Chicago, so I mean, none of them were in neighborhoods that I would drive through anyways, but, yeah, my options are more limited. I haven't been to a Walmart yet since I moved to Chicago, but, um, I used to go there all the time to get auto parts and stuff for my car. Um, let's see here. Unleashed this Viking thing. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have one of those ones. Let's see here. Man, you guys are blowing up the chat tonight. I can't keep up. I'm like, wait, slow down. Um okay. So when did I 8 p.m. East 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern. If that doesn't work for you, let me know if we need to bump it up earlier or something. Um So yeah, I was um yeah. Bolt thrower deep dive next Saturday. Right now it's scheduled for 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. It'll be a good time. Let's see here. What happened? His boss, dad passed away and under ownership. Sister, someone tried to license from Black Mark but was refused. Okay, so Corthoron's sister is the one running Black Mark, and apparently she's the one who doesn't respond to emails or doesn't do or doesn't in any way engage with the marketing, manufacturing, or anything else to do with the whole back catalog, which is fine. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then Wilson. All right, good. So we have that set up. Um, my anyone when you've guys have been seeing me on stream, like last this past Friday I was on heavy metallurgy. That was a good time. It's definitely was a good stream along with Logan and Lee, and showed off some stuff. And of course, as always, my cat makes an appearance. um my cat, I have this cat who the vet has told me that he's highly intelligent and he's the type of cat you can train. And you think like, oh, cool. And I've trained him to do some things and all of that. But then the dark side to having a highly intelligent cat is that they have a mind of their own and they learn quickly. They learn quickly on how to get snacks when they want snacks. And they learn quickly on how to wake you up at 4 in the morning to feed them. And like so he knows the right things that make the most annoying sounds that get me out of bed to feed him. And one thing that he's started to pick up on is he farts a lot. Like my cat seriously farts a lot. And because he's learned that when he comes over to me and he farts, then that's going to get a reaction out of me. And then I'll go over and I'll give him treats or give him some dry food to get him away from me because he smells. Well, one thing that the cat did the other day that just he it's like 3 in the morning. He wanted to get me out of bed to feed him. And I just wasn't responding at all to him because he'll do the typical thing where he'll, like nudge my head, crawl all over my chest and whatever. And then I was sleeping and then suddenly I'm woken up and I'm gagging on this smell of like a cat fart, but I can't see anything. And he does the thing where they'll show their butt to you, like where they'll stand there, with their tail up in their butt. And what the vet has told me and what I've read is that's a sign of affection because their mothers would, stimulate their rectum to get them to poo, and it's a sign of trust. And they consider you family when they do that. It means that they trust you. I don't think that's necessary. Like I don't want to see his wrinkled balloon knot. as much, especially it's one of the last things I want to see right when I wake up in the morning. But I'm woken up at like 3 in the morning by the smell because I'm just gagging on cat farts, but I can't see anything. But I lift my head up, and then my nose like hit his rear end. It was so disgusting because he was standing right there. Oh my god, it was awful. But yeah, it's oh man, he's a handful. He's a handful. I've been I've been watching. Okay, hey Tom, good to see you around, man. I'll see you. We'll chat later. Um, oh, he passes gas multiple times every day. He is well. I feed him. He's fed so well. He gets wet food twice a day from me, plus dry food when I'm gone, and then treats. I mean, he's a fart factory. He is, and they smell disgusting. Cat farts are disgusting. I don't know if he got his farting habit, if he's learned how to, use it as a tool to get what he wants, or if it's a bad habit that I unknowingly, you know, he picked up from me, kind of like that commercial from back in the day of the dad doing drugs and like I learned it from watching you, like I don't know if it's something like that, but yeah, he's a handful. He's very gassy. Um, where was I going with that? Yeah, so I was watching um when I've been sick, I was watching just a lot of just mindless YouTube, sometimes stuff that you don't want to have to think about it. And was watching um this channel and it's called the Boring Channel. And it's this guy who does landscaping. Let's see if I can get this up on stream here. Here we go, the Boring Channel. Okay, so he does landscaping. He does power washing, and all of it's pretty impressive stuff. I don't know what it is, but something about it is satisfying.
All right, guys, so I've been gone from Tulsa for about 2 months, got back home. Turns out on this particular job that the tenant dished out on the property, left the landlord with this mess. We're going to get it cleaned up. This is Muriel. She's one of the neighbors over here.
Really thankful that Kevin's going to come and clean up this yard for the neighborhood.
He has 2,000 comments on this just for cutting grass. And he has drone footage. And I sat here for probably about an hour watching this. I mean, me personally, I hate yard work. I absolutely loathe yard work. But I don't know why I spent probably an hour just watching this. And apparently I'm not the only one. He has over 400,000 subscribers. People like me who just sit and watch someone cutting grass. There was a good one. There was a really good one that I watched earlier about power washing. Ooh, you want to talk about satisfying. Yeah. This is a good one, man. Sounds a little annoying. And this is the whole video. Power washing the curb, the driveway. And you know what? There is something strangely satisfying about power washing. Um, I've done some power washing before in the past, and I never really thought much about it. But it is like when you have, like this surface, concrete that just covered in years of just filth, but then you just like spray it all clean. It is kind of rewarding and stuff. But then I was watching this and I was starting to think, I was like, man, this is a good little business that this guy must have going on here. I wonder how much money he makes doing this, So it's a 20-minute video. I mean, look at that. I mean, I feel like this is an age thing where something about this I would rather watch this than watch porn. I really would. This is exciting stuff. But yeah, so when I was sick, spent a little bit of time watching some of that. Oh, could be the food I'm giving him. Yeah, I need to take him to the vet because yeah, he's really picky though. This is the thing. My cat is a rescue, first of all. And I buy him, good quality wet food. Like I don't get him the cheap stuff. I get him, the sliced meat, it's like real meat. And you know, and I tell him, I'm like, you know what, when you were in a cage, they didn't feed you this food. Um and he's well, I don't know. Next time I take him to the vet, I'll bring him. Let's see here. What is this? Is how to deal with main battle tank who tried to target your computer? Yeah, I've watched some of those hacker ones too. Some of those are interesting. Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, man, dirty concrete, getting that stuff clean, it's satisfying. Yeah, imagine if Varg did something like that. Yeah, absolutely. That is how. I mean that. Yeah, let me bring. I'm not done watching this here. Let's watch a little bit more of this. Now, see that thing that reminds me of. Remember when we were in high school and the janitor would buff the floors, and he had like that big round thing that was like the floor buffer. Look at that.
See the final result.
Yeah.
There was a lot of dirt on there.
See, now the one thing is he doesn't have drone footage yet, so he's clearly an amateur. Clearly an amateur. Damn. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but anyways, where was I? So yeah, enough about my cat. Enough about my cat. I so I was there were two comedy albums. I was going to go over a Chris Rock album tonight, but I can't find it. So I'll go over that at another time. But I have Two Live Jews, as kosher as they want to be, and Doug Stanhope. Something to take the edge off. I was listening to this again today for the first time in a long time, and I bought this when I lived in Baltimore. I saw him perform at Fraser's on the Avenue, I think is what it was called, and was a good show. And he signed, I got his autograph there. Chris, I'm drunk. And yes, he was very drunk. He pulled his penis out too after he signed it. Back then, he had a thing about pulling his penis out and showing it off to people. Nowadays, I think that you could get in a lot of trouble for that. But back then, again, that was pre 9/11, pre COVID. So there were people were a little more open minded, and it was a good show. But listening to this again, someone who could go on a 5-minute rant about suicide, that's talent. Not many people could really pull that off and still keep people laughing. There was definitely some good. I mean, anyone who's familiar with Doug Stanhope's material, when I first learned about him was back when The Man Show was on Comedy Central. The Man Show originally was Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel. And then I think after 3 seasons, they left, and then Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope were the new hosts of The Man Show. And so when I think this was probably around 2002 when I saw him. So that would have been probably definitely after, when The Man Show was probably over by that point. Have you ever? Oh yeah. Oh, he's a happy guy, definitely. But yeah, there was definitely some good material on here. I listened to this again, and there are jokes that you couldn't tell nowadays, but back then there was some stuff. And then now, 2 Live Jews sort of faded into the obscure. They were this is like a hip hop album or like a rap album. And one thing about like music parody is I always feel like music parody is a wasted attempt at trying to be funny because people don't want to listen to the songs. This is a bunch of Jewish themed rap songs like Jap rap, meaning Jewish American princess, Shake Your Tushkas, as kosher as they want to be, accountant suckers, joking Jews, oi, it's so humid, begging for a bargain. I mean, it's as cliche as you would think it would be. And that's what they were going for. I think nowadays I think it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it was tongue-in-cheek back then too. But maybe back then in 1990 it was a little maybe edgy. It was new, but nowadays it would just be kind of just corny and weird. But for 2 Live Jews, I found this video of them on, let's see here. Yeah, 2 Live Jews.
As kosher as they want to be by a group calling itself the 2 Live Jews.
Coming up next, it's Live with Regis and Kathy Lee.
Ooh, Kathy Lee.
Live crew, they're not the only rappers in town. Now comes a new group.
My first MILF crush ever was Kathy Lee Gifford. And when I was a kid, I would watch Live with Regis and Kathy, and I was just like in love with her so much. And then those Carnival Cruise commercials that she was on. Oh man, yeah, ooh, I'll talk about Kathy Lee Gifford another time, but man, I had the biggest crush on her.
Called 2 Live Jews. And Rap Goes Kosher was in the USA Today yesterday, and here's their album right here. So we
As kosher as they want to be.
as kosher as they want to be.
The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson.
Did you see the group? There's somebody down in Florida that did a takeoff on Two Live Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They call it Two Live Jews.
Yeah.
As kosher as you want to be. Have you heard it? I haven't heard it. Somebody said it's kind of funny.
Good morning, Regis Philbin. Good morning, Kathy Lee. We're coming to you live right now on national TV. ABC. That's right. Again. Wait a minute. 2, 3, 4. Hit it. Well, freeze in your tracks, you dumb little crews, because we got a dope beat, fresh, funky, and new. Well, this track's laid down by the Moisha MC and my homeboy Easy Irving. He's as deaf as can be. Right? deaf as can be. Right? We know we don't eat pork, beef, crab, or ham. Just a little Manischewitz and some bite at lamb.
Oof, Manischewitz plum wine. That is, whoa. That is, yeah. That's some bad stuff. But yeah, I don't know. You could tell that they were younger comedians, but then there's just a lot of makeup on to make them look older. Yeah, I don't know. They were around for probably about 10 years or so. Listening to this album again, the lyrics are good and the idea that they had, but again, going back to just music parody, it just doesn't age well because again, this is all very dated. First of all, the music, I mean, 1990 rap, whatever was considered rap back then, but then something as low budget and not reaching for mass appeal, or maybe it was, but or just not well produced, just doesn't age well. And the lyrics are funny, but the music sucks. But then the music is a huge distraction from funny lyrics. But yeah, I mean, they were around for a while. I'm sure they made their money, and they're living on South Beach or somewhere.
Friday, it's the Sabbath, you see, because we are two live Jews, and we're kosher as we want to be.
From WNBC TV, this is Live at 5 with Sue Simmons.
Well, you might want to call them real Michiganers, but their rap act is the next best thing to chicken soup. Two live Jews, they call themselves.
America's watching ABC.
And you can clap along with these kosher rap stars. Meet Two Live Jews. Cornering the market when it comes to new rap sound.
One thing I do love is how they would discuss rap, but just in the news back then. The new rap sounds that the kids are listening to today.
It started getting dark, so we busted out the door onto the sidewalk, walking back to the hotel from the bagel shop. It was so damn humid, it was on us like a mop. I was shredding like a mule, I was frying like a flint, I was swimming in my shorts, if you get the hint.
Yeah, so that was some Two Live Jews right there. What else was there? Yeah, I don't know. Good for them. They made their money. That's all that really matters. What else did we have here? Yeah, Kimmel. God, Kimmel sucks. I never thought Jimmy Kimmel was funny. He just seems like he was probably one of those people who is business savvy. So that's how he got the hand up. And when I lived in New York and I saw some of the people who advanced the fastest in comedy were either it was nepotism or lawyers. There are a lot of lawyers who get into doing stand-up, but also people who are lawyers, they're educated, they have a good business acumen. You know, they're not stoners who just sit at home, get high, and zone out in front of the TV. They actually they have a good work ethic, and that's why they get places faster in comedy and in showbiz, because that's just come to them. They're a lot of times they're not funny. A lot of times they're definitely not naturally funny, or they're okay, they're funny-ish, but they're not like laugh out loud funny, but they still get places faster. And that's what I see Jimmy Kimmel being, is someone who, now Adam Carolla is naturally funny. Adam Carolla was really funny, especially early in the days on Loveline. I used to always watch that. I thought, that was really funny. But yeah, Jimmy Kimmel, I just never thought he was funny at all. He's pretty boring. Comedy metal albums. I have a Brian Posehn album somewhere. I'd have to find it. Comedy metal albums. I mean, there are albums that, I mean, again, AC, Picnic of Love. That album is 45 minutes of pure comedy. It's brilliant. How a band could do 40 minutes of acoustic tongue-in-cheek love songs. It's beyond me. It's was Mel Brooks involved? I don't know who I don't see his name in here. Yeah, a lot of these people, I don't even know any of these names. But Mel Brooks, yeah, is it Mel Brooks? Yeah, like his daughter is like a big New York comic. I've never really seen her have any like TV shows or anything like that, but she's a name around New York comedy scene. Man, I'm telling you, Kathy Lee Gifford was a babe back in the day, an absolute babe. My first MILF. She really was my first MILF. I was just absolutely head over heels for Kathy Lee Gifford. We got those Carnival Cruise commercials that she was on. We got the weather, we got the fun. Those were awesome. Oh, she was always so hot. Yeah, Brian Posehn, I like him. He was really funny. When I did that podcast, I have on SoundCloud, I have 2 episodes. One of them was an interview that I did with Brian Posehn because he was headlining at a comedy club I was associated with back at the time, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, the Sick Metal Chat Show. I have 14 episodes on SoundCloud, but only 2 are visible because the others are hidden because I don't have a paid subscription with them anymore. They're really not even worth listening to, but I did an interview with Brian Posehn. Really cool dude, really awesome. I mean, he's done a lot of really awesome things in comedy. He absolutely has, and he loves gross bathroom humor as much as I do. And he, is big into metal. Like that was on the Sick Metal Chat Show when I interviewed him. That was a lot of, he was big into bands like Amon Amarth, and he knows all the guys from Anthrax and stuff. So he was definitely a cool dude. Yeah, SOD MOD. Yeah, that that first SOD album, man. Good luck trying to get something like that distributed nowadays. I'm telling you, I have the first SOD album, and yeah, let's just say it wouldn't resonate well with modern audiences. Christoph, first time seeing you in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Have you ever listened to the band Pig Vomit? Raunchy raunch comedy song. Pig Vomit. No, I haven't, but I'll check them out. Sounds like probably just corny, Is it like porno grind type of stuff? Let us know in the comments. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Celtic. Okay, SOD. Celtic Frosted Flakes is funny, but Tom G was not very happy. Yeah, something about Tom G Warrior. I don't imagine him having a sense of humor. You know, like there are people who exist who don't have a sense of humor. It's weird. It's weird to think that there are people out there in the world like that, but there are a bunch of them. People who just don't have a sense of humor. Okay, all right. Pig vomit. I'll check that out. That reminded me too of I was thinking about the Jerky Boys again recently. Jerky Boys, another you know what I hate is that because with modern comedy, I get so tired of hearing people say, "Oh, we could never make that movie nowadays. Oh, you can never tell that joke nowadays. You can never release that comedy album nowadays." You know, like it's like suffocating the art form, you know, because in a way it's kind of like comedy is being, you know, pushed out of existence or something. It's yeah, I don't know. It's kind of annoying. Um, what was I going to do? So I've got this CD this week, um, from this band called Fester Decay, and the album it's called Really Rotten, or wait, Reality Rotten to the Core. They're from Japan, and they're another one of these bands from Japan who are early Carcass worship, just like Pharmacist. Um, this is on Everlasting Prey Records, I think is what it is. I forget who I ordered it from. Good stuff. It's definitely you know, Carcass worship. They wear it on their sleeve. The album art says it all. I would say that it's a little maybe more punk sounding, not quite as dirgy and grinding as Pharmacist, but it's good stuff. I like it. It's called, yeah, Pathological Stench Goregrind. I mean, is it wrong to just assume all Goregrind is Carcass worship? I feel like maybe that's what I'm doing, is that I'm just assuming all Goregrind is Carcass worship. It, maybe I shouldn't just assume everything is Carcass worship, and that they're actually just trying to be you know, their own thing. Yeah, gore beyond necropsy and catasexual urge motivation are insane. Yeah, catasexual urge motivation. I have a CD from them. I have this gore beyond necropsy CD. This one is a classic. I showed off this one on an earlier stream. This is really good. I used to have a 12-inch that was gore beyond necropsy and Merzbow. It was called Rectal Anarchy is what it was called. I used to have that. And then there's also a Gore Beyond Necropsy 7-inch that I might have somewhere. I would have to see. During this period in time, unfortunately, like a box of records disappeared. And because I had a roommate at the time who was stealing shit from me. Yeah. Has anyone ever had people steal records from you? Because I have. It's a motherfucker. But yeah, the Fester Decay is This is a good one. I haven't really given it like a proper listen yet. I've just listened to it in the car and then just at work while I was working, just on headphones. But once I give it a proper listen at home on my stereo, I'll have a better opinion of it. But so far, I like it. I definitely like it. And yeah, this Gorbeion Necropsy, this thing is a classic. I mean, this is like 60. It's like 60 songs in like 22 minutes. It's just hilarious stuff. And then I also recently I got this one. Yeah. Festered. Yeah. They have a cool logo too. I like their logo. Yeah, Gorbeion Necropsy. It's good stuff. Yeah, exactly. One of the few Goregrind albums you can safely show on YouTube. I know, like that's like I have this Last Days of Humanity LP here, and I'm trying to figure out. I think here's what I'll do. I'll block out the cover with my stereo file magazine. Boy, is this a juxtaposition or what? Oh, the contrast of stereo file, but then Last Days of Humanity. And then this is one of their earlier albums called The Sound of Rancid Juices Sloshing Around Your Coffin. I love that name because that title, because you have just this image of just, oh, here's a coffin, and you go shake it, and you just hear all these rancid juices just sloshing around. I like that word, sloshing. I want to start using that word again more. But yeah, here's the back. I'll cover up the can't really see much of anything, but yeah, the inside, I can't show that. Oh, here we go. Here's one. I could show this. Here's a picture of the band. And they actually, and they had a girl in the band. Right there. And playing guitar. I think for Gorbeion, I mean not Gorbeion Necropsy, Last Days of Humanity, Putrefaction in Progress was probably my favorite album that I've heard by them. I have a split CD that they did with the band PLF, and their stuff on that split is really good too. PLF, the grindcore band with Brian. He's been in a ton of bands. He's like, one of like the big underground drummers. I like PLF a lot, but yeah, the split CD of PLF and Last Days of Humanity, that's a really good one. I'd recommend picking that one up because that both sides of that are really good. Yeah, one thing that I like a lot about Putrefaction in Progress is I like the snare sound in it. The snare has the tuning on the snare. It's just, or maybe it's not tuned. I don't know. I know that I remember back in like the 2000s or so, there was like this wave of bands who just weren't tuning their instruments anymore. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe his snare wasn't tuned and it was too tight, and that's how he got that sound or something. But I dare you go to audio and play some to the extremely. I would absolutely love to play Last Days of Humanity on $100,000 stereo system. Like, in the VC, how there are the guys like Michael 45 and Sonic Flare, those guys who have like $100,000 systems. I would love to just play like just the most insane, sick grindcore on their systems just to see what it sounds like. The Saint Anger snare sound in Goregrind fits well. Yeah. I mean, you know what? I've never listened to Saint Anger, but that's the thing I've heard most about Saint Anger is the snare sound, which I think maybe it was a piccolo snare that Lars was playing on that. I don't know what the okay, yeah, you know what? Let's see if it's putrefaction in progress. Let's see if oh, well, here we go. Perfect. Covered with feces as decoration. And I like how they had to pretty much blur out the entire album cover minus the band name and the album title. Other than that, everything had to be blurred out. Um, the thing that I would have liked to have heard is vocals that are screamy. I mean, like the gurgling vocals are good, but I would have liked to have heard some screaming too on it. But yeah, but I like that snare sound. So there's this one drummer who I started following on Instagram who plays in a Japanese Goregrind band. Let me see if find his I can find him. If I can't find him right now, I'll post him later. But he's like just the way he needs to position himself at his drum kit, just so that way he could just play as fast as possible. And all he wears is underwear. Like he just wears bikini underwear. Pretty much just positioning himself to just be as fast as possible. Um, what's his name here? Let's see. Okay. Shit. Yeah, I can't find it. I'll post it later. It's a good follow. But yeah, another gore grind band from Japan. All right, let's see here. The problem with that band is that everyone started to sound exactly like them. Very insane sounding gore noise. Yeah, yeah. I mean, gore grind. I feel like gore grind, you can only expand upon it so much, kind of like, yeah, then after that you have gore noise. Then after that, it's like, what are you even listening to? Kind of like my whole theory on how, when you listen to extreme music for so long and, you reach a point where once you're listening to harsh noise, then the next step up from that is listening to a 1 kilohertz calibration tone. Then after that, you just go full circle back to childhood music, like Mary Had a Little Lamb and the wheels on the bus go round and round, like lullabies and stuff like that. Like I seriously think that's what happens, because once you're listening to a wall of harsh noise, where can you go from there? 1 kilohertz calibration tone and then back to childhood nursery rhymes. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see this resurgence in the VC, or just in music in general, of just grown men listening to nursery rhymes. And then there's this like hot underground market on Discogs of guys selling like Sesame Street records and stuff like that, of like ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and then here we have like our audiophile systems, and everything is perfectly balanced, and all just to play like a Big Bird record, singing lullabies and stuff. Yeah, that'd be interesting. A little later to the party. Clifford the Vinyl Cheapskate. Good to see you, man. Goregrind is either good or it's not. There's no okay gore. Yeah, yeah, I kind of feel the same way too about Goregrind. It's either good or I could just or hard pass on it. Some noise grind like Sore Throat and Fear God are actually pretty good. Now see, noise grind. There are a lot of noise grind bands that I like. I mean, I think when you get to Mortalized is, bands out of Japan, really like Bloodbath Records and HG Fact were like two labels that really kind of put out a lot of that stuff, especially Bloodbath Records. But Mortalized was probably the first noise grind band that I was exposed to. And I guess Gore Beyond Necropsy would also be considered probably noise grind, or like gore grind, or noise gore grind. It's something like that. But yeah, actually, last night I was going to talk about I didn't get around to it, but in a future episode, maybe on my channel, I'll talk a bit about Takafumi Matsubara, who is the guitarist from Mortalized, but he also plays in Gridlink, plays in a ton of other bands. And one that I like a lot is called Formless Master, that he plays in. And one album of his that I was going to go over is where is it? This one, which is this is the screen printed version, but it's called Strange, Beautiful, and Fast. And Takafumi Matsubara, this is like a tribute album to a friend of his who was in the band, the Japanese noise grind band. Oh shit, what is it? I have some of their stuff. What were they called? Unholy something, can't remember. But he died. So, but this is like a awesome album where it's Takafumi playing guitar, but then it's like dudes from like so many other bands on all of the songs. It's a really awesome album. It's really good. What was that? Oh man, I forget what that one band was called. It's bothering me. But yeah, I'll talk about that again in a later episode, because that's a really good. Unholy Grave, yes. Thank you, Wilson. Yeah. That whole album, it's a tribute to his buddy who was in Unholy Grave. Unholy Grave, another Japanese noise grind band. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean the dude is an insane guitarist. I think of him as the Eddie Van Halen of grind guitarist, but he also had ran into problems with carpal tunnel syndrome, and for a while it was looking like that he probably couldn't play guitar anymore. So he pretty much had to go through therapy and had to relearn how to play guitar after once he was able to go through therapy for his carpal tunnel. And I think a lot of that had to do with, his style of playing. But yeah, the dude's just an insane guitarist. Mortalized, I would say, yeah, let's see here. Mortalized. Now there are a couple mortalized out there. What you want is the mortalized from Japan. There was another one from Russia or whatever, but if like the mortalized from Japan, really good stuff. Mortalized Japan. Really good screamy grindcore. Let's noise grind. Hold on. Let me absolutely. Oh, that's good stuff. Oh man, do I love that. Yeah. Yeah, baloney. Listen to them later. I have most of their CDs, and then Blast as Fuck Records put out a complete mortalized discography probably like 10 years ago or so. And then there are also these grindcore comps called Grind Bastards, where there were a lot of songs from like some other like really sick bands as well. So I think they were off of a Polish label. I imagine the thing that's hilarious about being a collector is buying a CD or a record from halfway across the world. That's just 3 minutes of noise of screaming and just chaos. Like, why is it I can't just put my, you know, why did I have to turn out this way? Damn it. That was some grind from this past year, but could someone tell me what mincecore is, or is it just grind? Mincecore, I can't think of many bands that. Well, I mean, I think the OG mincecore would be Agathocles. They're like the OG mincecore. There are some other ones that, from the Bay Area, there were some bands calling themselves mincecore. Who is that one? I can't remember. I've never really listened to them that much, but yeah, I don't know. You know, mincecore, I haven't paid enough attention to mincecore to be honest, but I should, because I go around and I beat my chest about how much I know about grindcore, but then I'm sitting here and I'm stumped about mincecore. Rot, yeah, you know, I have some stuff by Rot. That new one that they put out, Organic, That one's really good. I really like that one. So some of their stuff. See, I kind of think of some of it too as it's like is is it some of the stuff where they just maybe can't play their instruments that well, and we're calling them mid-score, or because there are some early rot releases that it's kind of like, okay, well maybe they just don't know how to play that fast. Um, Ooh, Dahmer. Yeah, Dahmer was good stuff. Yeah, Dahmer was really good stuff. That's classic. Danak is another one too. Man, I'd like to get some Danak as well. The one CD of the guy with the gun to his head, I used to have that CD. I don't believe I have it anymore, but I'd like to find it again because that was a good one. Embalming Theater? No, I wouldn't. No, I would say Embalming Theater or Grindcore. Um, I don't. Yeah, I don't think Mincecore. I mean, I haven't listened to Agathocles in a really long time. I have a couple CDs of them. I just kind of thought that Mincecore was just a name that they just made up for their own style, but it doesn't really mean that, yes, this is like a defined style of grindcore. It's kind of like Hell Nation. Hell Nation, early on, they called themselves Thrash Wave. And there's a comp that they put out called Thrash Wave. But Thrash Wave isn't really a thing. I mean, is there any thrash wave out there? Has there ever been a band that's been called thrash wave? I think nowadays too, there's this thing with power violence. And power violence nowadays, I feel like a lot of people nowadays just throw around the term power violence just because maybe it sounds cool without actually knowing what power violence really was back in the day. Because back in the 90s, power violence was, bands like Fuck on the Beach. And, there was a lot of power violence out of Japan, but then also bands like Spaz were considered power violence. But then nowadays, people are calling Nails power violence. Like, Nails is not power violence at all. So I think sometimes some subgenres are just a little too murky, and there's not really any clear understanding of what the genre is, or if it even really is a genre. Yeah, Charles Bronson. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was power violence. Charles Bronson was. Or was it screamo? I mean, because there was, um, God, I mean, I haven't, yeah, I guess, because then when you think about, okay, Charles Bronson, then what about bands like Jerome's Dream? And, it's a lot of it all fell into the same category of, uh, the VSS, they were more of that San Diego style. I think Charles Bronson, were they from Boston? Like where Orchid? Now Orchid is one band that I still like Orchid. And Orchid would probably nowadays, back then, I don't know if Orchid would be power violence or if it would be screamo or emo violence. I wasn't prepared for this discussion, but I've a little bit of research to dust off. I remember I saw Orchid play at a house show um, in Gainesville, Florida, and it was really cool because it was Orchid, Lightning Bolt. I think it was the first time Lightning Bolt were on tour, and then there was like there were like two other bands. Maybe Ass Suck and one other one. I can't remember who, but or I think maybe Combat Wounded Veteran, Power Violence. Played this house show in Gainesville, and it was awesome. Yeah, Orchid were really good. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that was coming out of Florida during that time too. Capitalist Casualties, I would say, were crust. I've always thought of them with emo violence. I think Screamo as that shitty half metalcore sound. Yeah, well, because Screamo too, good point, because then bands like I Hate Myself would be Screamo from back then. But Screamo is still around. I don't know anything about modern Screamo at all. I know that I think there's like this dude or a couple dudes at my job who play in a Screamo. He said that his band is Screamo. I don't know anything about modern Screamo. For me, Screamo, probably ends at like 2002 or so. My knowledge of Screamo. But yeah, sort of for me, Screamo would have been like the Usurp Synapse. I think that would probably be like nowadays that would be more Screamo, not Power Violence. Got Usurp Synapse, man. That stuff was ridiculous. Just like and you know what I showed off, and so okay, so since there are people in the chat here who know real Power Violence and stuff, I was talking what was it, a couple weeks ago, I was talking about Morser and German metalcore, like German metalcore from the 90s, like Sisterol and Acme, Morser, and I have some of that stuff, but it's listening to it nowadays, some of it just sounds so ridiculous. Like a Morser 2 Hours to Doom is when the lineup had 4 vocalists, 2 bassists, a guitarist, and a drummer. I mean, 4 dudes doing vocals. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wilson. Yeah. Wilson knew. Wilson, did you ever pick up did you ever get a copy of 2 Hours to Doom? I think that would be a good audio file listen. Like go into a Macintosh store and say like, oh, I need to audition your system playing Morser 2 Hours to Doom. Yeah, Sisterol. Sisterol was good stuff. There was that 7-inch that they put out that was really good. A Black Smoker, I think, and then there was another one. Yeah, you got to get that Morser, man. I think Orchid were really good. Like, if I was to go back, some of that stuff, I would have a difficult time listening to it because nowadays, me being a grumpy old man, to me nowadays, that's just young kids trying too hard to be too extreme and over the top. And there are bands like that nowadays, too. Some of them get a lot more recognition than I feel they deserve because they're just being ridiculous and just trying too hard to be too extreme. But Orchid is something like I could really go back and listen to Orchid again because Chaos Is Me. It's a great album that they put out. Actually what I have right here are this is a singles comp that Ebullition put out. So I think Totality is what this is. So I think this was all of their like 7 inches and comp singles. And then this one is, I think this was Chaos Is Me. Chaos Is Me, and then also the 10-inch that they put out. I believe, are on here. And then I also have the 10-inch and Chaos Is Me on vinyl. But yeah, Totality, you're right. I remember this being like, 7 inches and comp singles and things like that. Orchid were pretty damn good. I remember after Orchid broke up, then I think they went and formed a band called Panthers that was kind of just more rock at the time. Like I think it was most everyone from Orchid minus the singer who formed Panthers, and I kind of remember them being sort of like a "And You Will Know Us by the Trail of the Dead" or whatever type of rock sound. Yeah, but Orchid was good stuff. Where was I going about this? I totally got off track here. Talking about 90s screamo. Yeah, that would be an interesting discussion to have one day about real screamo and emo violence and power violence and sort of what the difference is between the two, because that is one thing that does annoy me, though, is I hear the term power violence thrown around way too much and being applied to bands who are not power violence. Then the old man in me comes out and is like, no, that's not power violence. the gatekeeper. You kids don't know what power violence is. So, yeah. Anyways, all right. Still have 10 people watching. Page 99, yeah. In the city of Caterpillar. Yeah. Yeah. Which in the city of Caterpillar, I think they're still putting stuff out. I think even Relapse might be putting some of their stuff out. Infest, yeah, page 99. I saw Infest, yeah, because page 99, City of Caterpillar, they were all from the Baltimore area, and that was during the time when I lived in Maryland, and I was going to a good amount of shows then. Yeah, like you know what? While we're on the topic of power violence, there was one that I wanted to show. Where is it? Oh shit. Oh well, I can't find it. I'll talk about it another time. No, it bothers me because I know that I have it right here. Yeah. All right. No big deal. Anyways. Swallowing Shit from Winnipeg is another great power violence band. Swallowing Shit. Are they new, or is that 90s power violence? I'm not familiar with that. Oh, you know another one. Yeah, Acrid, and I have some 12 inches because that was like straight edge power violence too. I have a couple 12 inches that they put out. God, yeah, I have. I know John Chang really hates power violence. Yeah, he does. He's John Chang is one of my favorite grindcore vocalists. I mean, I love Discordance Axis. I know that I sing it from the mountaintops. Like, I love Discordance Axis. It's especially the Inalienable Dreamless. I just think it's such an incredible grind album, but also just for a screaming vocalist, like I just love his style of screaming vocals because screaming vocals can be cheesy sounding if they overdo it, but it's just, the production and all of it. It's still always every band that he's been in with Gridlink and um no one knows what the dead think and everything else is, it never sounds too loud, and that's important. And then for screaming, there is this good like style of screaming where you sound kind of monotone or flat in your screaming, where you're not like too much, like, and I've heard screaming vocalists do that, and it sounds corny when they scream, but it's like it sounds better just to be like just like kind of monotone with your screaming, and that's what he does with his vocals that I really like a lot. Swallowing Shit are from the 90s. Okay, I don't remember that. Yeah, I mean, there's I have a Copsy discography somewhere. I mean, a lot of stuff that was out on Sound Pollution Records. I have a bunch of old Sound Pollution stuff, and then I have some Gravity, some stuff. Angel Hair. Yeah, Angel Hair was good. Ooh, I have an Angel Hair 12-inch. That was good stuff. I might have to give that the ultrasonic cleaning and give that a listen sometime soon, because Angel Hair was good stuff. Yeah. Oh, really? I'll have to check that out. Well, I could do a better Discordance Axis episode. I don't need them. All right. I think I'm about to call it a night. But I appreciate everyone blowing up. Yeah, no, Southern Lord will be reissuing Heroin, the self-titled, and then I think it's going to be a double LP set with some 7-inches and comp tracks, things like that. So yeah, definitely Heroin stuff. I mean, the dude from Heroin started Gravity Records, and then that Gravity was the whole San Diego sound for the 90s. So it's definitely important music. But yeah, it's not reissued yet, but I think it's this year. I think it's going to be released. So, but yeah, it's good stuff. Looking forward to it, definitely. All right. Oh no, I don't. Did the Heroin come out for Record Store Day? I don't think so. Southern Lord was going to put out something for Record Store Day, but I don't think it was Heroin. I hope it wasn't. Well, first of all, I'm sick of hearing about Record Store Day because it's just all just lame, boring crap. I can't remember the last time I was excited about anything for Record Store Day. Oh, here we are. Okay. Right here on oh wait, how do I oh, here we go. Oh, better yet. Okay, so we're on Southern Lord's website right here. Record Store Day. No shit. Southern Lord will release Heroin disc. Record Store Day double LP will be April. No shit. It was. Oh crap. Prolific output for Record Store Day. I don't, yeah, and a collection of recordings from 90s mainstay heroin. Shit. Well, I mean, the thing about the record store day release is it's just the vinyl variant. That's all that it is. It would be they'll still release it on, something else. But just not the record store day color, which I don't care about. I'll just buy it on black vinyl. That's all that I want. But okay, so the Heroin discography contains the 7 inches and 12 inches comp tracks, as well as a session. The band recorded at the infamous Inner Ear Studios in DC. Wow, I'm gonna have to get that. Okay. Yeah, thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah, I'm not a record store guy, record store day person either. I see a record store day. It's at first I thought it seemed like a cool idea like years ago, and then after that, it's just crappy albums that they're repressing like live albums and or just weird, just albums that suck that they just give them like some. Well, it became the thing about, oh, well, what color is it? And I like black vinyl, but it's like the record store day variant is like, oh, it's a splatter or it's a merge or something like that. Like I don't care about any of that crap. Um yeah, okay. Oh well, looks like something else I'm gonna have to buy now. Man, I remember when this was out, Alter, and these things were not selling at all. I remember just seeing these things just the record stores couldn't give these things away for some reason. And I listened to it and I remember thinking it was okay, but I think there came a point too when Boris were just putting out too much stuff and people got bored with them. Um because it did seem like there was a time there when Boris were putting out a lot of stuff. But yeah, I remember when this was out, they were just sitting around collecting dust at all of the record stores. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to get this heroin one. All right. Yeah, yeah. Record store day. You know, it's good intention. It's good for all the normies, like the normies who want to get their Taylor Swift record or um like a yet another Bob Dylan record to add to the collection or something like that. I got for record store day, I did buy the Sisters of Mercy BBC um double LP that came out, I think maybe 2 years ago. I bought that. So I have that record store day release. I have um a Nirvana Incesticide 200-gram double LP that came out on records. That was a record store day release. Um, God, when was that? Maybe like 2015. I have that. I've never opened it. It's still sealed. Um, and other record store day stuff that I've bought, the Alice in Chains ones that they've put out, like of Sap, and then the facelift 12-inch. I bought those, and then there was a Hawkwind live set that came out on record store day that I bought. Yeah, just a lot of the record store day stuff. It's just like for metal at least, it's just none of it's just to me just like not really that big of a deal. It's either just stuff I don't listen to or it's just the vinyl is just a different variant of some sort. Um Yeah, it's crazy. Like when I lived in North Carolina at Lunchbox Records, people would get in line at like 2 in the morning and just sit outside for like 6 hours waiting for the place to open. Like, really? I mean, they were probably all just flippers. Um, it just seemed a little ridiculous. Um, what was another record store day thing that I bought? Yeah, I have a Serge Gainsbourg um record store day release that I bought, like, I can't remember when, at some point, but yeah, the record store day. I don't even check the list anymore of what the releases are going to be because I just know it's just something that is like, oh, whatever, no big deal. Anyways, I appreciate everyone hanging out in the chat and tuning in tonight. Yeah, I remember that the agnostic front was a pretty big one because I think that had never gotten like a vinyl treatment before or anything. So I remember that was a big release for Record Store Day. But Ramones, what Ramones was that? Oh, that was a later Ramones album, right? Dolly Parton, Chet Baker, Fear Factory. There was a Fear Factory Record Store Day. Or no, that was the new. I think that's the for the newest Fear Factory. I think, right, Wilson. Um. So, anyways, I'm gonna sign off here. I'm gonna take some NyQuil and go to bed soon, and hopefully, I won't be sick much longer. But yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Give this a like, and yeah, I'll have some more videos coming out. And yeah, everyone, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And have a good one. Thanks.